A new green Mid-Missouri project adding hundreds of jobs.
From farms to school, how local produce will make it into your school cafeteria.
And a Mid-Missouri community helps a school to new heights. KOMU 8 News at 6 starts now. A lifelong Cardinal gets the country's top civilian honor in Washington. Contract changes for Missouri teachers. What does it mean for your kid's school district?
Voters came out and voted today, but they had less options. Find out why that is.
And the search is over. Missouri introduces its new basketball coach. KOMU 8 News at 6 starts now.
A tornado rips through Sedalia this afternoon, leaving a new trail of destruction.
And tornadoes affected much of mid-Missouri today, but is the threat over?
And as the storms rolled in, Mid-Missourians gathered supplies to still try to help Joplin. KOMU 8 News first at 5 starts now.
Live from Studio 8A, coverage you can count on in high definition. This is KOMU 8 News first at 5.
Here is one of the many scenes caught on camera moments after the tornado hit Sedalia. It appears to be a man roller skating without a roof. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sarah Hill.
And I'm Angie Bailey. Thanks for joining us. What we do know is, as of right now, there are no reported deaths in Sedalia, and that's good news.
KOMU 8's Jim Reek and Michelle Bogowith are both live in Sedalia with the very latest information on this tornado outbreak. Jim and Michelle, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Sarah, crazy story here. We were on our way to Joplin, for full coverage, and along with the telethon tomorrow night, 7 to 8 o'clock. About Springfield, the boss called and said, Jim, Michelle, head north on 65, go to Sedalia. We were aware that there were problems in Sedalia because on your phone, we didn't know it was this bad. And this is a situation, it's bad here, but it could have been worse.
Yes, that is most definitely the case. We were watching the radar our entire drive because we could see these thunderstorms building out across the area and saw several tornado warnings going up. I think at one point they were into the double digits across the state of Missouri at one point, especially for us here in central Missouri. I want to go ahead and talk about some of the damage. Now, the Weather Service is going to come out and survey the damage. Now, they have to wait for the severe weather threat to be over with, so chances are they won't be able to get out here in Sedalia until about tomorrow, maybe even the next day. It depends upon when things start to finally calm down. They're going to come out and assess the damage that we have. And I'll kind of step out of the way so you can kind of see behind me what we do have.
It did miss the high school. We have a new high school. It's a very large campus. We have absolutely no damage to the high school. All the schools here in Sedalia, we've had all of our children are accounted for. Had absolutely no problems in that area.
Advanced warning, and the police chief says that Joplin tornado really spared some lives here in Sedalia. All of the high school kids are accounted for. Probably the worst damage here is the bus barn. We'll talk more about that at 6 o'clock. And also, the tornado here was probably about a quarter of a mile wide and probably was on the ground for about a half a mile.
And we're looking at about EF1 damage. The total assessment will come out later, but at least that's what it appears here on Highway 65. We don't know further in, though. Obviously, it could be a lot worse.
So 15 to 25 injured here in Sedalia. Luckily, no fatalities. Tonight at 6 o'clock, we'll have a live guest. It's the guy who shot video of the tornado coming right across the field here and right across Highway 65. That's coming up at 6 o'clock. Michelle?
That's all. Back to you guys.
Sounds good, and I know that Pettis County officials were urging people to stay out of the area. You saw all those cars moving behind them in the background. Stay away from the area so they're able to search the area. Severe weather pounded the area all afternoon. Dave's been on the air. Eric's been on the air for hours and hours.
And we will send it over to Dave right now, again, in the First Alert Weather Center for the latest on today's storms. Dave.
These tornado warnings affected almost every mid-Missouri county today. I can't really think of one that it didn't affect between the hours of 11:30 and 3:45 today as the system moved all the way through.
We are following new devastation that happened in Sedalia just this afternoon. Crews continue to search for survivors in Joplin. KOMU 8's Will Peterson joins us now live on the phone from there. Will?
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. Today was actually a mild day in Joplin. It was raining in the morning, but it's actually sunny now. Where a hot topic today, though, is that Joplin police initially were handing out permits for residents to try and go back to their homes and get through roadblocks that police had set.
And Missouri Task Force 1, a special unit based in Boone County, came back home today. The unit was deployed to Joplin just shortly after the tornado hit on Sunday, and it spent the last few days there. KOMU8's Josh Friedman is live in Columbia, where the task force returned today. So, Josh, they were trying to beat today's storm home when they were coming back from Joplin, right?
Yeah, Angie, that's right. I'm live at the Boone County Fire Protection District, where Missouri Task Force 1 came home today, but not without a little bit of a delay. They actually had to race home to beat those storms. Some of them even showed us some pictures they had on their cell phones of funnel clouds they saw while trying to get home. They did make it home safe and sound, though a little bit later than they expected, around 2 p.m. today. And overall, there are about 85 members of the Missouri Task Force 1 who were deployed to Joplin shortly after the tornado hit. Actually arrived about 3 a.m. Monday morning to help in that search and rescue efforts in Joplin. They had about 100,000 pounds of equipment with them and took a bunch of semis to get that there. And remember, these are all volunteers, the men and women part of the Task Force 1, all volunteers leaving behind their own homes, families, and jobs to help those in Joplin.
There's never been a situation that we've deployed to like Joplin, and no other situation will ever be that way. So that's kind of part of what we train for.
The task force spent 40 hours straight, not a lot of sleep, helping those in Joplin, helping the search and rescue efforts down there. Reporting live in Columbia.
Okay, thanks a lot, Josh. Moberly volunteers took hundreds of donations today to help Joplin tornado victims. Volunteers set up in the Sears parking lot on Morley Street and filled an entire truck full of those donations. They ranged from water and food to toiletries and a lot more. The effort was in partnership with the Salvation Army of Joplin. Organizers say they did not expect such a big turnout.
Schools, a lot of area schools are involved, which is very cool. Different organizations, clubs, businesses. The outreach has just been tremendous. It really makes you proud to be a Missourian and a Moberly Missourian.
Now, volunteers wouldn't take any more clothing. Instead, they did ask people to take them to Goodwill or the Salvation Army just to hold them for now.
Joplin relief continued across mid-Missouri today. In Jefferson City, there are 2 hours left to make donations at the Jefferson City Fairgrounds. JCs say they've received a lot of toiletry items and canned goods. Across town, Hy-Vee is still taking donations after sending 4 trucks to Joplin already. Volunteers and donors agree it's an undeniable time to give.
It's so nice for those people. They don't have anything. They've lost everything. And so it's a little bit to help.
Other Jefferson City collection sites include the Capitol Plaza Hotel and any Jefferson City school.
Rescue efforts just keep expanding in Joplin. We'll talk live with coordinators for tomorrow night's telethon.
A federal investigation spells bad news for a former presidential candidate.
And we still have a few showers and thunderstorms in that forecast, but the severe weather, I think, for tonight is over. That's next on KOMU8 News at 5.
And there's a live look over those skies. Certainly not clear yet, but looking a lot better at 5:08. This is KOMU8 News First at 5, coverage you can count on.